Cheers.
Hi, hello everyone. We are so excited that you are either here in person with us or watching this recording. I posted in our team pages that this team call is really going to be about gaining momentum in the last 90 days of this year, which is crazy to think that as of like yesterday, I think it was, there are 90 days left. But more than that also, we're going to be talking about like if you are someone who feels like burnt out, or you feel like you're just like turning your wheels as fast as you can and like you feel like you're going nowhere, this is going to be a great call for you too. So with that little teaser intro, like a commercial, like a stay tuned, like a please don't hang up, because that's what's coming, I'm going to pass it to Andy, who's going to do some recognition to kick off this call before we get into the meat and potatoes, the 80-day obsession approved meat and potatoes of this call.
All right, guys, I'm going to share a little graphic with y'all. I'm excited to share. We want to recognize everybody who in the month of September changed lives. So starting with, and for those of you who are maybe newer, and maybe you're not aware of Success Club, just a reminder, you get 2 points for Success Club every time you sell a challenge pack or an HD order of Daily Sunshine, the Performance Line, or Psychology. So basically, if you sell somebody a challenge pack, you are providing them an opportunity to change their lives. So this is the Changing Lives Club, right? So the top Success Club point earner for the month was Ms. Kimberly. Congratulations with 20 points. We also have Shayna with 12 points, Tiffany with 10, Julie Weld with 10, and also on the board with Success Club 5 and higher. So these people helped at least 3 people. Brittany Tomlinson, good job, and Tara Williamson. She should be hopping on soon. And we also had a lot of you who are on the board, which is great. And I just want to give you guys lots of for those of you who've been in the push group especially, I know that you guys have all been working hard. And this is not to minimize helping at least one person. That's still one life that you changed in the month of September. And I just want you to know that that is really special and awesome. So we have Jen Shute, Sarah Esslinger, always changes her name, and I didn't catch it, sorry. Anna Schaefer, Joey, Julia, and Maggie, and Shannon all helped at least 2 people this month. And then the rest of this list, congratulations for helping at least one person. Thelma, Lisa Martinez, Robin, Sarah Milan, Megan Gunty, congratulations, and I'm happy that you're on this call. Adina Brown, Becca Nigro, Brittany Damara, Dory Lewis, Patricia Mercado, Tutu Smith, and Sandra Bird. Congratulations. And Maggie, oh wait, you were on there. I didn't say your name. Did I say your name, Maggie? I did. Okay.
Yeah. But we can say it again.
And Maggie helped 2 people this month.
Wait, can we talk about how you sound like the chick from...
Well, I've listened to a lot of National Wake Up Calls over the last 5 years.
I'm pretty sure you are the National Wake Up Call person.
Maybe I should just, tell Carl that he can just add that to my resume.
Maybe that's how you build up like your following. Like you just announce them all the time, unsolicited.
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
We are stoked for all of you. I will say that this list has had more names on it in the past, and it kind of made me a little bit excited in a way to look at this and say all the names out loud, because normally I just post it in the team page, because again, I just don't want to minimize the work that was done. And I'm really excited for Brittany to launch into this call, because we're going to get right into how can we get more names and more points on this board, because points on the board means you've touched more lives. And that is the goal. So I'm going to shoot it back over to Brittany.
So there's something that's happening to me where I feel like I have like dry mouth today. I've been so thirsty, even though I've been drinking way more water. So that might be a thing throughout this call, but I'm really excited to talk to you guys tonight about this topic, because honestly, this is something that I have been feeling, and so just sharing it with the rest of you might help. And so I'm hoping that maybe if you have a success partner who's not on this call, or you have a coach on this team who you adore and she's not on this call, that maybe you send the recording of this to her afterwards, and then you guys can kind of put some of these action steps, action items in practice together. So for me, I want to kind of frame this call where I want you to just think about it. Like, do you feel like that you are kind of burned out? Are you feeling, again, like that you feel like you're just like spinning your wheels? Are you feeling, and you're like not getting anywhere? You're feeling like you're kind of stuck? Like, that's kind of where I want to come from in terms of the direction of this call, because as we look to the last 90 days of this year, if you're someone and you're in that mindset, 90 days can, one, feel like an eternity if you're not excited about something. Two, it can just feel like, especially in the midst of heading into the holidays, it can feel like a great time to just really slack off in your business, and then also in your health and fitness. And I really want to encourage you and challenge you to not do that. I want you to use tonight, or whenever you're listening to the recording of this call, as a moment in time where you take a breath, you take a second, and really evaluate what you want out of the next 90 days. And also, the next 90 days are going to set you up for Q1 of next year, for the beginning of next year. Because when people are setting their New Year's resolutions in their mind, it's not January 1st is not when they're thinking about them, right? Like, they're starting to think of them as they're eating too much food on Thanksgiving. They're starting to think of them as they are, you know what, I think Canadian Thanksgiving is like this week. Oh, look, Kim's so excited that I like mentioned her. And all of our other coaches from Canada. So like, if you think about it, like, the holidays are upon us and things are going to get really crazy. So if we're not rooted in our goals, if we're not rooted in what we want from the next 90 days, one, our business is going to really hinder and suffer from that. And then also going into next year, our business will continue to suffer from that, because there are other coaches who are going to stay consistent throughout this time. And you want the people who have been watching you to feel like this girl shows up, even though she's over there like still drinking her pumpkin spice lattes, or she still like enjoys her eggnog, whatever. She still shows up every day, and she's someone I want to join, because I know she's not going to give up, even if life is crazy and even if the holidays are insane. So I really want to encourage you to think about October and think about the next 90 days. And I want to challenge you guys as this moment in time where it's time to like buckle down. And I don't mean that it's time to spin your wheels even faster. I don't mean that it's time to like add a bunch of more stuff onto your plate. But what I do mean is that I do think that it's time for us to like start being real with ourselves. It's time, actually time to like for you to really determine what are your goals this month and for the next 90 days, and then actually doing the action items required to make those goals, to actually achieve them. And so I'm going to ask you a couple questions. These are rhetorical. These are just for you. This is, I heard some of these in a different personal development video that I've been listening to. And I want to ask you guys these questions. Just think about them, okay? I have them written down. So number one, how many people did you say you were going to invite last month, but didn't? How many, so think about that. Next question. If you did invite, how many people did you actually follow up with when they didn't respond? Even though you know that people all the time open messages and forget to respond. People their lives moves a million miles a minute. Maybe they like thought they responded and forgot. Even though we know this, how many people did you invite and didn't receive a response, and then you just never followed up with them? Number three, how many of you feel stuck? Like you feel like you are stuck in your business. You feel like you are spinning your wheels a million miles a minute and getting nowhere. You feel kind of like confused about like what your why is in this business anymore. How many of you feel like that, but then you didn't do anything to change that feeling? How many of you kind of, sort of, put in the work into your fitness and into your business last month? that question really is something that I think is so important because of that quote. Like if you kind of sort of commit, you're going to kind of sort of get results. So just think about that. And then number 5, the last question. Did you listen or read any personal development last month and then not put any of it into practice? And so I ask you guys those questions because I think they're even really valuable. They're really valuable for me to really do a gut check, because I think a lot of times when we're in this place and we're feeling like, I would say even like another question to ask yourself is like, did you set a goal last month and was it a goal you actually wanted to achieve? And that I'm going to get into in just a minute, because I think a lot of times we set goals like, I'm going to hit diamond this month. I'm going to, whatever your goal is, but then it's actually not even your goal. Like that's actually in your heart, not what you want to accomplish. And then, so then we end up just setting ourselves up for failure because we feel like we're not hitting these goals when actually it wasn't something that we really wanted in the first place. And so if you're feeling again, like burned out or like you're spinning your wheels a million miles a minute, I want you guys to really think about those questions, because I think sometimes you might ask yourself and you might realize, wow, like I feel stuck and I did nothing to change that. I listened to personal development every day. I didn't implement any of it. Or I said I was going to invite all these people. I didn't invite anyone. I followed up with 0 people. I kind of sort of like posted here and there. I kind of sort of did my nutrition plan here or there. I worked out, hardly sweat because didn't really push myself. And these are things that you guys might not actually realize, but they are affecting the success in this business, but they're also affecting how much joy and excitement you're getting from this business. And so if you're feeling like that, or if you answer those questions and you're realizing like, oh shoot, I realize now some areas that I can do differently next month. That's great. And I want to now just go into a couple steps that you got, like actionable steps that you can take to make next month and the next 90 days different from the ones leading up till now. Because also a couple conversations I've had with people over the last month is people feel like maybe I'm just not cut out to be a coach. Like maybe this just isn't for me. When in reality, of course, like there are a million things. Like we were each created like for a specific purpose on this earth. And so it's not like everyone has to be a Beachbody coach. But what I'm saying to you is that it might not necessarily be that you weren't created to do this or that you can't be successful doing this, but it might be that you aren't actually doing some of the basic activities required, even though it seems like this is taking over your life. And so what I want to do is give you guys a couple steps to really not only help your business hopefully move forward and flourish, but also take away some of the burden of feeling overwhelmed. And also take away some of this feeling that maybe you're stuck or maybe like you're feeling unmotivated in your business. So number 1, I want you to actually be very real about your goals for the month and for the rest of this year. Like I mentioned a minute ago, like sometimes we set these big goals and you see some other coaches on this team and you're like, oh, I want to hit Diamond. I want to hit Success Club 25. I want to whatever. And I know that we encourage everyone to set big goals, but they don't have to be your goals. Like you can set whatever goals you want for this business. My goals right now are to hit Success Club 5 and to run my challenge groups every single month. And you will see me continue to do that month after month. And I've been in different seasons in my business where my goal was like Success Club 20 or 30, and I would hit them. I would hit Success Club also in my husband's account as well, because I signed him up as a coach underneath me. And so there are just different points in your business where your goals might be different. I'm now in a season of life where I travel every week back and forth from San Francisco to San Diego. I have really big career goals for myself and my day job. And so for me right now, Success Club 5, and I will hit that every month and you will see that. So your goal does not have to be astronomical, but it has to be your goal. And so I want you to really think about before you commit this month and for the next 9 days, like what do you want? What's your end goal? Whether you want like a specific money amount that you're trying to achieve and then you back into it by like Success Club points and recurring Shakeology orders or whatever, we can help you with that. Or if it's a certain number of people you want to help, coaches you want to sign, just actually understand what your goals are. Number 2. This is simple, you guys. Number 2, once you've determined what your goals are with number 1, number 2 is actually do the actions that are going to help you accomplish that goal. That means the 4 vital behaviors. There is no secret sauce to this business. There is no magic. There is no whatever. There is consistency, and there is the 4 vital behaviors, and there is showing up. You are the magic of this business. You are what you are offering to people. And don't forget, like, don't undervalue what it is to have, like, what it means to have someone who says, I want to link arms with you, and I want to join you, and I want to do this together. An example that I heard recently was talking about like inviting. Like if you were to post on your Instagram or your Facebook or your whatever your preferred social media platform is, and you just posted like a super cute inviting picture of yourself, and you were just like, hey girls, like I am hosting a party at my house. I want you to come, bring your own appetizer. Here are the date and the time. I really hope to see you there. Here's a list of awesome activities we're going to do. And I just cannot wait. And you're scrolling through, like girls might be scrolling through like the invite, like your social media feed, and see this invite to your party at your house. And she might think like, oh man, I haven't talked to this girl since high school. There is no way she means me. Right? Like, or I haven't seen her, like I haven't talked to her in forever. Actually, I just follow her on social media because I found her on a hashtag because she likes cute coffee mugs and so do I. Like, there's no way she's inviting me. Or man, I bet she even forgot, like we haven't talked in so long. I bet she forgot that we're even Facebook friends. So like, I'm not even going to like comment or like on this because like she did not mean me. I'm not going to go to that party, even though it sounds really fun and she looks really cute and whatever. But if you like reached out to someone and invited them to a party, they would know you meant them. And the same is true with our challenge groups. Like you're inviting them to this party and they might scroll by and be like, oh, she doesn't mean me. Oh, we haven't talked in forever. Oh, we've never talked. Oh, all of these reasons why you don't actually mean her. But when you reach out to her and personally invite her to your party, to your challenge group, to your coach sneak peek, like she's going to know it's not an accident, like, or it's not that, yeah, 100% you met her. So you need to be inviting and you need to be doing it with that mindset. So going back to that question of like, how many people did you say you were going to invite last month versus how many people you actually did, or how many people you invited in like the last 1 week before your challenge group, and you like burnt yourself out because you were just inviting like crazy on those last couple of things. And then felt like no one was responding, like, you know, all that stuff. You're just inviting out of like being frantic as opposed to like inviting out of almost like abundance, like excitement for this group that you have coming up. So that like the number 2. So like do the actions, the 4 vital behaviors, change your perspective on what inviting is and like actually direct invite people. Number 3 is just consistency. I mentioned this a minute ago when I was going through my analogy, but it's the consistency. You guys, it's not inviting 3 days before the challenge group starts. It's not following the 2B Mindset Nutrition Plan 1 week out of the month and then 3 weeks like you're just chilling, doing whatever, right? Like it's truly committing. And the same is true in your fitness journey too. Like your goal doesn't have to be to look like a bikini competitor, but you have to figure out what your goal is for you and then do the actions required to hit that goal. And then appeal to those women, because there might be other women out there who don't want to look like a fitness competitor, but who, I mean, for me, like I want to still like love my chips and salsa and my margaritas. And I had someone actually message me the other day and she was like, I love that you still drink margaritas and you talk about chips and salsa, and that like you, but then also like you're figuring out like you're making progress towards your health and fitness goals in the process. So like that, like that's, you know, people who I'm talking to. So whatever your goals are, know that there are other women out there who have like the same goals, who want that same lifestyle, and they're looking for someone who's doing that, who's on the, like making progress towards that, who is starting to figure out the path to that. And then who says, hey, I want to like link arms with you and like, let's do this together. And then number 4 is, this is from Girl Wash Your Face. If you guys are reading that book, we are reading that in our 80 days through the summer group right now, is you need to stop breaking promises that you make to yourself. And we do this all the time. And this is something that book like really like convicted me, just in terms of like, oh, you know, we do that all the time. Like I'm going to start on Monday and then like we actually don't start. Or I'm going to do whatever that thing is and then I don't do it that day. You know, whatever it is, I'm going to invite these people and then I don't actually invite them. Tomorrow is going to be the day that I actually schedule my posts, like write them in the notes section in my phone so that I can actually have content for the following day. Or tomorrow's the day that whatever it is, tomorrow. No, like we need to do it today. We need to like make these commitments to ourselves, and which will be a lot easier once we decide what our actual goals are for ourselves. And then what do we need to do each day? And then we need to like not break our promise that we're actually going to accomplish those goals. So if your commitment to yourself is to hit Success Club, you know, like that every day that's something that you are working towards. And that's not something that you stop doing once you hit your Success Club points, but that you just make progress every single day and that you're going to keep those commitments to yourself. So those were the talking points that I had. That's what I really wanted to share tonight. I'm going to open it to Andy and to Kim, who to see if they have what they have to add to that.
Awesome, Britt. Well, I had a little page of notes here, and you hit everything on it. So thank you. There was a personal development call that I watched or listened to today, and I really liked one thing that she did that's a very actionable item. And I think it's also more than just a rhetorical question. It's something that you all should be able to answer. And if you can't, then that's where we need to start. So I'm going to ask, and I want you guys who are on this live to type in the chat, what program are you doing right now? I want you to type it in. What week are you on? What day are you on? And if you can't answer that question because maybe you're in between programs, or maybe you've just been kind of doing the on Monday, I'm going to start blah, blah, blah on the Monday, and you haven't, then this is exactly where you need to focus in. It is so much easier to do this business when you are doing a program from start to finish. When you're following a calendar, it gives you so much content to share on social media, and it makes it so much more inviting and exciting to invite people to your party of your challenge groups when you're doing it. And when you're just kind of, you know, maybe you did 80-day obsession, maybe you did lift 4, and now you're kind of like trying to decide, go talk to dad. Go talk to dad. Go talk to dad. Yes. Sorry. Maybe you're a little bit where I've been before. You know, maybe you're at your goal and you're like, dude, I'm just going to kind of coast. Maybe I'll do challenge du jour. I kind of like T25, so I'll do that. You do it for like 4 days and like, no, I'll do clean week. And then you do clean week for like a day. No, like that's not going to help your health and fitness goals, and it's not going to help your business. And I think with our platform of Beachbody On Demand being so huge and so expansive and so amazing, sometimes it can lend to doing that. And I know for me, when I'm doing that with programs and not following a calendar, my nutrition goes to the wayside. Those chips and guac and margs are like way more frequent than maybe my once a week. And it makes the business harder, because if you're on the journey and you're in the trenches with other people, it's so much easier to link arms with those people and say, hey, do this with me, than to kind of maybe be wishy-washy doing it. And maybe you're doing a program, you know, maybe you're doing, I know a lot of you are doing 80-day right now. But maybe you're only doing it part way. I'm just going to call you out right now and say, stop doing it part way. I'm not saying do it 1,000% to a T. I know we're all doing this through the holidays, as am I. I'm on day 3. And I've had those thoughts of like, am I really going to do this like spot on Halloween, Thanksgiving? The answer is probably no. I'm not going to do it 1,000%, but am I going to do it 95%? Yes, I am. Am I maybe going to have a cookie on Christmas Eve because my mom bakes amazing cookies? Yes. But the other 76 days that don't fall on those exact holidays, I'm going to follow the time nutrition. I'm going to follow the calendar, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it. And doing that makes what I share on social media easier to talk about, more fun to talk about, and more inviting. Like I said, it gives you content. So what program are you doing? Step number 2 is share, talk about it. Don't worry about so much about the aesthetics or what you think maybe you should be talking about or not talking about or how it should look or getting the best photo. The best thing you can do if you're feeling stuck and overwhelmed and like, gosh, I'm being told how to do this 1,000 different ways on social media, just do you. If you snap a sweaty selfie and that's all you've got in you and you have a little story to tell about your workout that day, then do that. Because what happens when you get bogged down with all of the, this filter isn't great, or I don't have one of those cool lights that some people have or whatever, then you just don't do anything. And then nobody sees what you're doing. Because the people that are watching you, yes, there's a lot of Instagram accounts that are 1,000 times better than mine. But my goal every day is to get some content there. And I practice trying to get better at it. But I'm not sitting here trying to have it look picture perfect all of the time. Because for one, that's just not me, obviously. And 2, that bogs me down. That's where I don't take action because I get in my head and I get in my own way. So just share you, the way that you would talk to your best friend. And my last point was just the consistency piece that Brittany already talked all about. And you guys know, I think I say it on every single call, the consistency in inviting you guys and the consistency in showing up. Because if you said, most of us who've done 80 Day or any program, I'm just going to use 80 Day as an example. How many of you have done a story or a post and said like day 1 of 80, day 2 of 80, and then you get to like, I don't know, maybe day 9 and where'd you go, Or maybe it happens on day 27. I don't know. But if people are watching you and then all of a sudden you're not there because life happens, you guys, life freaking happens. Things come up. People get married. People move. People have tragedies happen in their life. People have babies. People change jobs. There's so much of life that is going to keep happening. But if you stay the course with this and you focus on the vitals and you focus on sharing and being consistent, you will be the person that people want to work with because they will trust you. And that's what you need to focus on. If you come and go, it's like trying to go up a down escalator. I don't know how you go up a down elevator. It's like trying to go up
it's hard.
an escalator, it's going down, and you can't get anywhere because people don't, I don't want to take health and fitness advice or be in a group from somebody who I only see her talk about it twice a week. Like that doesn't make me go, yes, I need to do what she's doing. I want to be with the chick who's showing up every single day talking about what she's doing. Miss Kimberly.
Yes.
I tossed it over quick.
Yes.
I was taking off my soapbox.
Soap's over. No, I think the coolest part, and I think the coolest part about the fact that we have this plan and you have a plan and you have any plan. And it reminds me a lot of this whole thing that everybody's doing right now with Rachel Hollis and how she basically just became, she was somebody who blogged about casseroles. Like that was what she did. And then one day she decided to show her cellulite on social media and she blew up, and then she wrote some books and now she is what she is. And now they have over, I think I don't even know what it was, like 400 or 500,000 people doing this 90-day challenge. And it's interesting because, Brett, I don't know if it like brings up for you, but like 3 years ago, we did a 90 days to the end of, to New Year, New You.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And
yeah.
Basically we said, you don't have to, and this is something I preach all the time, that if you have a plan, it doesn't matter if you derail. It doesn't matter if you fall off the freaking bandwagon 49 times between now and 90 days. The confidence that you have something to come back to, and that the idea is that you just keep showing up for yourself is what we get to show people how to do in their life. And I think that one of the, in my opinion, the best part about Beachbody is that we are working on ourselves to become our best selves so that we can be our best for other people. It has nothing to do with the scale. It has nothing to do with what we look like or what that after photo looks like, that's all a byproduct. Those will happen because of what we do. But if we can work on ourselves ultimately to then be like a seed for all these other people in our lives, I can't tell you, I have a text chain with 10 women who don't even show up in any one of my challenge groups. They don't do any of them, but every single morning they're doing Beachbody programs and they're drinking all the products drinking all the products, but you know what I mean, drinking all the things. And we have an opportunity to show people how they can show up in their own lives. And I don't know that there is anything else like that. And, you know, you look at Rachel's 5 for 5 or whatever it's called, the 5, I don't even remember what it's called, but she's basically preaching what we preach every single day. The difference is her platform is larger, but you're no different than what she is. She's just decided to be brave about it. Like, really, that's the difference. She's not afraid to show any of this stuff. Why do you think Ashley Molstead, who's now taken over as the #1 coach, go look at her page. She shows her rolls every single day. Every single day there's a roll on her page. And she shows you her standing up and how you're skinny. And then she's out drinking margaritas and eating chips. But the fact is that's her story. And she's living a life of balance. And I feel like that's what we get to show people that they can have through the holidays. And there is nothing worse than coming to January 15 pounds heavier with no plan, nowhere to start. You've just blown all this money on Christmas. So you don't want to be like, hey, honey, can I spend $160 on a challenge pack because I basically ate my way through October? Like, you're embarrassed. So what I learned my very first year in this business was I kept thinking like, oh my gosh, January is going to be like the greatest month ever because we're all going to be so overweight because we ate everything and then we're going to just want to buy challenge packs. Guess what? It was probably the worst month I ever had. I'm pretty sure I bought my way into Success Club because they want to spend the money, but they're so depressed and they're so now holiday blued that we have to help them learn that they don't have to feel that way. They can wear that black dress to their husband's parties, or they can show up to their own company party looking like they worked for it, or they can go to a family function and eat all the things, but then the next morning at 5 a.m. they're working out because they have a balanced life. And ultimately, which is so funny because I literally saw 3 quotes today. I wish I had the other one, but it was like, the thing that looks best on people is inner peace. Like, it's the most attractive trait on any person. And I just was like, wow, that's really profound. Like, do you shine an inner peace? Do you have an inner peace that shines bright? Because ultimately, I think that's what people want. That's all they want. They just want to live a peaceful life that is like, that isn't struggle every year. You're struggling with this, you're struggling with that. You don't know how to parent. You don't know how to have a happy marriage. You hate your job. Like, all these things suck. And your peace is just like, ugh, like nobody wants to be around that. But when you find that inner peace, you ultimately shine bright in people's lives. And I think that that's our opportunity. That's what we have to share with people, is how to find that. And if that's you trying to find that, bring people on that journey. Is really what I would say to you, is don't be afraid to be. This morning I was in a bad place and my live video is straight up like, I don't really want to be here. I literally threw my bands, like those 80-day bands. I actually wanted to go feed them to coyotes. Like, I was so mad. And I'm so pregnant and I'm trying to shove these freaking bands and I'm bending over and I just was like, Autumn, you're like, I called her names. Like, I was so mad. And I was like, this workout's going to help my mood. It didn't help anything. Actually pissed me off even more. And I just shared that, like, because that's life, right? Like, that's the real stuff. And that's how people relate to you. So bring people on the journey of you trying to find peace, just like Rachel did, in that sense that she had anxiety. She yelled at her kids all the time. She ate her way through birthday cakes. She was miserable, and they fought for their life, and now they share it boldly, and they blew up because they're real and they're raw. And to be honest, their videos are kind of long-winded, and you're like, what the crap's happening? Get your lives together, right? But at the same time, at the end of it, you're like, but I get it. Like, I get you. So, that's all I have. I don't even know if that really had anything to do with what we're talking about.
No, you always had something.
Pretty sure it had something.
That was great.
End of the year.
Yeah, no. I mean, it had something to do about something. It was great.
Something to do about something. Sounds about right.
It was great, honestly.
Good.
So now we're going to move into taking a couple questions. You can either type them in the chat or you can just ask them. I'll start with Becky's question. She put it in the chat. She said, before I forget my thought, how do you follow up with someone you've invited and never got a response? So here's how I think about it. Think about it in the same way that like you sent like an evite to someone, right? And like you saw that they opened it, but then, and I do this all the time. Like I'm checking my email. I click Kim's super cute evite and I'm like, oh, okay, let me check my calendar to see if I can go to that. I have to talk to my husband to see what we're doing that day.
They come in heavy this time of year. Sorry.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
A lot of parties this time of year.
Yeah. And then you completely forgot. Just like, or I kept thinking about it, but I just never actually went back to the evite to like click yes or no, I'm attending or I'm not, or maybe. So think about it like that. You know, I think that sometimes we get all like nervous about like following up with someone, like, am I hounding them? It's like, unless they like blocked you straight up and then you wouldn't be able to respond anyway. Following up to just be like, hey girl, like whether it's, you know, I normally wait like 2 to 3 days, or maybe it's just the deadline to your event is like enrollment is closing and you're just like, hey girl, wanted to follow up to like make sure I'm like solidifying the enrollment for my next online bootcamp. And I just wanted to see if you had a chance to think about it. Would you like to join us or not? And it's like really casual. Like it's not, you know, like there's no feeling on her end that like you're like being like that you're stressed or that you're anxious or that you're trying to make a sale. You just really want to know if she wants to come to your party. If she doesn't respond after that, totally fine. Just keep her on your list to follow up again later. Because again, you'll see if she's still like watching your Instagram stories or your live videos on Facebook or whatever. If she's still watching you, she could potentially, she's still like interested in what you've got going on. She's not like skipping your videos or unfriended or unfollowed, which is all really easy to do if like you're super annoyed with someone. So like that's what I would say. It's just like following up to see if they want to come to your party.
And remember, guys, when people say no or no thanks or whatever, or ignore, it's not about you, you know, like you have no idea what's going on in their life. And also, I bet most people don't know how to open a message and then mark it as unread so that they go back to it, which we do all the time, right? As Beachbody coaches, because we use DM and Messenger all the time, but most people probably don't even know you can do that. So think about how many times people open a message and legit, like Brittany said, can't respond in that moment, or sometimes they think they respond, maybe they respond in their head or whatever, and then their kid comes and interrupts them and asks about their sister's outfit, and then it's like, wait, what? Done. You know, it's worth the follow-up. I do every 4 days. After 4 days I follow up and I just say, hey, I'm not sure if you got my message, which I mean, I know you got my message, but I just said, I'm not sure. And I just want to make sure, you know, if you want in on this, I would love to have you join us. Short and sweet and to the point. And if they say no, if they say, yeah, I got your message, no, okay. It's not about me. It's about them. Because what if they really need this? You know, what if you could be the person to change their life? You're never going to know if you don't ask. And I'm realizing that my follow-up method isn't as, there's a lot of people falling through the cracks because the people I've been inviting lately, I realized I invited in like 2014 when I started my business, never followed up. And a lot of those people are now doing LeFleur this week. So you got to follow up with people.
Yeah, I was like talking with one of my best friends from college this week, and she's like not on social media like at all. And for like years has not been. But she was when I started Beachbody. And so we were joking. We were laughing about how many people from college are now like just within like this last month or like in September or August, like joined my challenge groups. And I was joking. I was like, yeah, it's just that perseverance. Like I just eventually just like wore them down because it's like how many things did they start and stop and not follow through on? And now almost 4 years of me doing Beachbody programs, you know, and it's like, all right, she's still doing it. Okay. Yeah.
And you guys, when those people, I have an example of a woman that I worked with. And let me tell you, the people who I invited the most in the beginning of my business were nurses who I worked with. And this is somebody I've known for 10 years. I worked with her many years ago. I have invited her for 5 years. She was one of the very first people I invited. And it got down to inviting her about once a year. But she's doing Lift 4 right now. And 2 weeks in, she sent me a message that made me cry, because y'all know I cry like that, saying that she is so glad I never stopped inviting her. It had to be her time. You guys, that is what we do. It is worth it. It is so worth it. Don't give up on yourself, and don't give up on these people who maybe right now is not the time. Maybe they're waiting for January and going to ask their hubby for it for Christmas before they run out of money. You don't know. But what you do now is going to set you up for January. So do not take your foot off the gas, you guys, because other coaches will invite those people, and maybe they need you to be the person to inspire them.
Do you guys have any other questions? That was a great question, Becky.
Yeah.
No? Well, if you haven't done so already, I know a couple of you guys on this call already have, but definitely check out the dates and locations for Super Saturday or Super Sunday, which is this month. So it's like every quarter. Beachbody hosts Super Saturday or Sunday, just depending on what day, where you are, where like local Beachbody coaches like pick venues and they host these events. And so you go and they have local successful coaches who speak. A lot of times to the bigger events, like they send some of like our Beachbody celebs. Like we've worked out in person with like Tony Horton before. For the one that we're going to for our San Diego one, the creator of the 2B Mindset will be there in person speaking with us. So it's really fun. And also if you're in that place where you're starting to feel like burnt out in your Beachbody business, or you're feeling like, man, like what, I'm not really sure why I'm doing this, spinning my wheels a lot, Super Saturday or Sunday is actually a really great event to go to, because it helps you remember, right? Like you're part of just this community. Like everyone is just really supportive and encouraging. You get to hear success stories. You celebrate people and their transformations. Like it's just a really great event. And so it's something that you can go to, and you can also, if you have like customers, even if they're not Beachbody coaches, you can bring them, or people who are considering coaching or you think would be great coaches, and you're like, hey, why don't you just like come check this out for a couple hours, and then like let's grab lunch after. So it'll be really fun. I know Tara bought her ticket. I know Kim and Andy and I are going. Megan's going. So if you guys haven't bought your tickets yet.
Julie's going.
Julie's going. Yay!
Portland.
Pretty much everyone on this call I know is like a leader because you're on this call. But I just want to encourage you, because it is a really cool event to check out. Even if you don't know anyone in your area who's going, it's still fun to go because everyone is so nice. You can just meet new friends. It's just really cool.
And it's a great place to bring challengers, potential challengers, people who might want to join the team so that they can see this on a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm.
One last thing, I am headed to Vegas on Thursday for Beachbody Leadership, and I'm excited to bring back whatever I can glean from this conference this weekend. So next week on the team call, a portion of it, I'd like to share whatever I learned, which I don't know what it'll be yet. But so don't miss the call next Tuesday. I'm excited to bring back some info for you guys.
And can we please just give Julie a shout out, who's driving 5 hours to go to Super Saturday?
Whoa.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That is far.
Yeah. All right. Should we stop the recording and take a quick picture before we move on to the rest of our lives?
Bye, those that are watching or listening.
Bye, recording.